What up, what up, what up? It's your boy. I'm your host, Draper J, aka Brother Ballhead, aka the Mustache Menace, aka Mr. Brown Sipper. And I'm back. You know the deal, you know the spiel. I'm back with another episode over here all about the Bills, with another episode of Monday Night Mafia. Now, as you've seen in the shows, the name of the show was we're gonna talk all about the Buffalo Bills 2021 training camp battles. The in this show, I want to go over some of the positions, some of the position battles that I really am intrigued about how they're gonna turn out, and who I feel what I feel like we may need to get out of each one of these individual positions. Now, let's move over to the first running back. If I can get it to come up now. All right, running back. As of course, y'all know we signed Matt Breida over the off season. Now, I want to know what the dynamic of these three running backs will be in this season. You know, you have Motor, the shiftiness of Motor. You got Moss, was the hammer. You need a good hammer in your toolbox if you work around the house. I learned that at a young age. All right, then you got Matt Breida, the speedster, the speedy guy, the guy who made the home run hitter, so to speak. Now, I would love to see these three guys be active on the opening day roster. I would love to see that because you have three different dimensions, three different type of running backs to do different things and bring some things different to the table. If I get the words out, be patient with me. But all right, now, and I think about like with Green Bay, how they have their running back room stacked on game day. You got Aaron Jones, you got Jamal Williams, and you got the young hammer, the AJ Dillon, the young boy. Three guys two of those guys kind of like interchangeable. You kind of look at it like Motor and Breida. They both pretty good at the passing game and things of that nature. Then you have Moss, which is the hammer. But for some reason, I think this regime isn't going to do that. I believe I think they're not going to do that for some reason. But I don't want another situation like how last season was, where you got T.J. Yeldon, third running back on the roster, really isn't bringing anything to the table. He isn't better than the two young guys you brought in. So why is he even there? Some in my mind gonna tell me that it's gonna probably be like over the day we're gonna have Tywan Jones or somebody that's a running back that can give special teams like capability. But I won't be opposed to this thought process. And I was just thinking about this. What if Marquise Speedy Stevenson was like they just didn't give him a position? He was like, they call him an offensive weapon. We'll get to that in a few seconds, like later in the show. So what if they made him offensive weapon and slotted him at the running back position? And that would be cool. I would like to do that. And then we could be able to keep him and Isaiah. But I kind of have a feeling that we may see Taiwan or somebody like that. But let's just play the what if game. All right. And it seems like as I go through these numbers and these positions and these three different running backs, it seems like this front office and this coaching regime has an archetype of what they want from the offense and defense. And you need your GM and your head coach working like a step. I'll get to that in a second as well. Now, let's jump right on over to the numbers of Devin Singletary, Motor. All right, now, we all know he splashed on the scene 2019. He had 151 carries, 775 yards. 2 touchdowns. This is rushing. Receiving tip. 38 receptions, 194 yards, two TDs receiving. That amounts to 189 touches, 969 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then I felt I was one of the guys who talking about the sky's falling, we don't have a running game, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Our running game has issues. What happened to Motor? I looked at his numbers from 2020. You'll never guess. Same type of numbers, 959 yards with 2 touchdowns. He just didn't get the touchdown. He doesn't have the flashy or splash plays that he had his first year. All right, now let's jump over to Breida. Brings the same kind of thing to the table as far as like being able to catch, run the ball, let's jump to his best season. 2018, sorry. 123 attempts, 814 yards, 3 TDs. That's rush. 27 receptions, 261 in there, 2 touchdown passes. That was 150 touches, 1,075 yards, 5 touchdowns. Now, I'll stop right there. It seems like I said that this regime that we're under right now, as far as like Bills fans, they have an archetype of what they want to do as far as like the offense. We just start right here with the offense. You got a speedy and a flash and dash shifty type guy, which really can kind of be interchangeable, but you need a good hammer. Like I said earlier, you need your good hammer in your offense. I mean, you need your good hammer in your offense and in your toolbox. So now with this one, now for back to what we were saying about, like, I know I've seen some Bills fans talking about that the rushing game is this and that. All right, it really, I will ask you this: would Frank Gore leave and then we get Motor? We'll play this game right here. We'll call it. Guess the stat line. If I can get the stats up, if I can get up. Guess the stat line, right? All right, now. All right, as you see, guess whose stat line? The first stat line you see is 166 yards, 599 yards, 3.6 carry, 2 touchdowns, 13 receptions. All right, and the next one is 122 attempts, 481 yards, 4.3 a carry, 4 touchdowns, 14 receptions. Could you guess out of who's who? Which one is Frank Gore? Which one is Mouse? I'll give you a second to think about it while I find. Okay, here we go. All right, now the first one. The first one is Frank Gore. 166 attempts, 599 yards, 3.6 a carry, 2 touchdowns, 13 receptions. Zach Moss, just last season, 122 yards, 481 yards rushing, 4.3 a clip, 4 touchdowns, 14 receptions. Now, like I said, it seems like this regime has an archetype. Now, I want to know which one of these three will actually be on the opening day roster. Which one of these three? To me, myself, I would now ask you this. What should we do? Should we keep all three? Should we trade one? I've been hearing somebody saying about no trade Motor, this and that. But my thought process is don't trade none of them. Keep them because, okay, Motor and Moss, they want enough to help us beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We know that. We lost. But when you bring a guy like Breida into the fold, he has that speedster, and you can kind of keep him in the same position like if you would play Devin Singletary. If everybody drops back in coverage, which they will do sometime this year, just to try to stop Josh from beating him through the air, you have a dump off, a safety valve, and a Matt Breida, or let's you say Devin Singletary, like somebody like that. But I really would trust like a Breida in that situation, like a Kansas City Chiefs or a big game, big playoff game, when we need somebody that just can catch the ball for 2 or 3 yards and give us another 10 to 15 yards added on to it. So I'm gonna ask y'all that question. What should we do? Who should we keep? Should we keep all three? I'm like I said, I lean more towards we should keep all three of them. My guy, A Rich checking in. Gore is the first. I kind of figured you know that. Yeah, you're a stat guru. So I kind of figured that. But that was kind of for everybody else who might not kind of watch stats. Appreciate you for checking in. All right, now answering on that second question. All right, all three should be on the 53, and I'm with you on that. I mean, Motor, he's shifty. He isn't fast. Now we know in all the presses over the offseason that Brandon Bean was talking about, we need to get athletic, fast, this and that. So why would you go pick up a guy like a Matt Breida, and then you end up using like how Miami misused them last season? So I don't want us to be that thing like how we did with TJ Yeldon. I was kind of some games screaming for Yeldon if the run game isn't this or that. But as we've seen, the numbers really aren't different from like last year when we had Motor and Frank Gore. Then this year we pick up Mouse. Now we pick up an extra piece. So it's just up to Brian Dable to be the one to be a little bit more to put a little bit more creative. If I get the word out, creative in the offensive in the offense as far as using these three. I know we like Josh. I know we like to see him throw it all over the field, but we need to make sure that we keep a good, consistent run game to where people can't just drop everybody back in the in coverage. You know what I'm saying? And just stop Josh. Now, take a pause for the calls. If you check me out over on Facebook, hit that like button. Tell a friend to tell a friend the hashtag AATB is in. If you check me out over on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to make sure you stay up to date on everything all about the Bills. All right, now let's move over. Let's move along. Now, this is what I like to call the offensive weapon battle. We're gonna start with this offensive weapon battle, then I'll get into a few things I've been hearing about. You know, everybody wanting Julio, Zach Ertz, and all that good stuff too. All right, now you got Isaiah McKenzie, Lil Dirty. You got Marquise Speedy Stevens. All right, I don't think we've ever had an offensive weapon battle. There's something different that we experienced. Like we're normally looking for like the next quarterback, the running back, who's gonna be the free safety. Now that's like a problem that you would like to have, where you're not worried about the quarterback, you're not worried about the receiver, you're not worried about the running back. You're just really worried about, okay, let's make sure we get this niche position down. All right. All right, now let's look at Isaiah McKenzie's number for 2020. All right, he had 30 receptions, 282 yards with 5 touchdowns. All right, now I saw he had 10 attempts rushing. I thought he had more yardage than that, honestly. It shocked me when I saw he only had 9 yards. But then he did have a punt return for a touchdown as well. Okay, now let's move over to Marquise Speedy Stevenson. Now, this is why I come back again and I say that this regime has an archetype that they like to have as far as position-wise. The offensive weapon is a new niche that we need to keep going. As we know, David loves his gadgetry. All right, let's run through Speedy Stevenson's number. 2018, he had 75 receptions, 1,019 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's our receiver. On the rushing status, he had 14 attempts, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2019, he had 52 catches, was at 907 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 9 attempts rushing 89 yards. In 2020, last season, he had only 20 receptions, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 attempts for 16 yards. He only played 5 games. So this is the position that I want to see. I mean, I've always been kind of hard on Isaiah McKenzie. I've never really just been a big fan of him. I just kind of sat back and just looked at like what all he brought to the table as far as like our offense last year. I guess it's the offensive weapon is something that you really need because, like I said once before, like I alluded to earlier, that Dable loves his gadgetry. Now, Josh's first season, it was a necessity. It was out of necessity. You got a young quarterback. You don't want to put the ball in his hands too many times. He'll make too many mistakes. And he was. I guess he was forced out there because Nate Peterman wasn't really what we thought he could be, or what whoever thought. I never really believed in Nate Peterman, but I move on. But first season, it was out of necessity. Second year, it was like they were trying to teach him, okay, I know you had a rocket arm, you could throw it a country mile, but we're going to teach you how to game manage. We're going to teach you how to play from within 10, 15, 20 yards of the line of scrimmage. We're not going to put too much on your plate. We always got these few gadget plays over here. We're going to take that pressure off you. Hopefully those will be the game-breaking, game-changing plays, and which they did. Let's just think about in 2019 when we played the Titans, we did the in around a little shovel pass to Isaiah McKenzie. He broke it off for 50, 60 yards. That's how we got all the way down there to win the game, really. And last year, it was more or less now that Josh was just playing out of his mind, MVP type of season. Now it was more like another dimension, another wrinkle, something to kind of keep the defense mind off of Josh, so he can sit back there and still, pick apart the defense. And honestly, like I said, if out of every time Josh drops back, he drops back they probably give him about 30 to 40 dropbacks. But each offensive snap, we at least need to get at least about 20% of those gadget plays in there too, just to kind of keep things honest as far as the defense. And then it's just not Josh. I mean, just think about like with Pat Mahomes. When he first came in, you had Tyreek Hill. If a lot of people remember, Tyreek Hill was like, he was a gadget guy. He was a gadget guy, even when they had Alex Smith. Because Alex Smith was what? He was that 5, 10, 15-yard type quarterback. He was going to throw it deep down the field. And Tyreek Hill just so happened to become the number one. But I think that didn't happen to what? Maybe Josh, Pat Mahomes' second or third year as far as like being the full-time star. Tyreek Hill was that guy, but he just so happened they just hit a home run. He became one of their top targets. So before I move on and talk about the rest of the receiving core or in the battles, do y'all think that offensive weapon will be like a mainstay in our offense? Do y'all think that's going to be something that we'll always be drafting for? That we'll always be looking for that offensive weapon, somebody who can run the ball, maybe possibly return kicks, be a receiving threat. I kind of lean towards the fact that I think it's okay and it works for right now. As we all know, we've been watching the NFL for a long time. That the NFL is always evolving. It's evolution from year to year. Last year, this year's a brand new year. Just like we was AFC champion, we were going to the AFC championship game last year. This year, hey, it's not promised. Same thing goes with like play scheme. So I think it's just something that's like right now, if it works 4 or 5 years down the line, cool, I'm down for that. Let's do that. And if it doesn't, then guys like Speedy Stevenson, Marquise, I've been called right now, Isaiah McKenzie. If it doesn't work down the road, then those guys will be obsolete and it's time to move on to something else. All right. Now let's go to the receivers, the rest of the receiving core. All right. Now, here's how it should be slotted. I think it should be slotted open day. All right, Steph Diggs is going to be the number 1. Emmanuel Sanders is going to be number 2. Of course, Cole Beasley, number 3. Gabe Davis at 4. I put Isaiah McKenzie right here at the 5th spot only because the offensive weapon. But, okay, we do have that offensive weapon battle. It can be taken from him. So, it's not in stone. All right, now, let me go back to Gabe Davis. And I want to talk about how everybody's talking about they want Zach Ertz, they want Julio. Now, disclaimer, I'm not against us getting those guys, but let's start with Julio first. All right. Here's a tweet from Phil Yates earlier today, matter of fact, about Julio Jones' contract situation. All right, now I'll read it. I'll try to read it verbatim. Again, the financials involved for a Julio Jones trade. The acquiring team would owe Jones in 2021. Check it out. 15.3. That's all guaranteed. You got to have that up top. I mean, up front. 2022. 11.5. $2 million guaranteed now. So you might as well say you're giving him $17 million like soon as he comes through the door. 2023, another 11.5. 3 years. 38.3 million for Jones. And he did say who turns 32 in February. Now, the age doesn't matter to me too much. So, all right. Now, with a guy like Julio Jones, you saw the numbers that they threw out there, what was going on and all that good stuff. You do realize right now, as the Bills sit free, we have basically slim to none cap money. We have $3.2 million as of right now. Now, I'm not gonna be that guy that's gonna always be. There's gonna be. I know what the cap is gonna do. I'm not gonna stand on top of a mountain or stand on top of a soapbox, beat my chest like that. I don't know how the cap may work. I hear June 1st is a big day for I guess the NFL. It may blow up or do whatever then, but I don't know. But as of right now, and then us want Zach Ertz. He's due what, 8-9 million just his one season, even though it's his last year of his contract. He's due 8-9 million. Now, those numbers don't add up. 3.2 can't get you Julio. 3.2 can't get you Zach Ertz unless these guys go to their front office and like, look, we're gonna waive whatever fee, whatever was owed. Just make sure I can choose the team I want to go to when you trade. Now, if they come in and say, I want to go to Buffalo, I want to go to Kansas City, blah, 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 whichever team is competing is winning, and they say, okay, I could choose that, and then my new team will just work out a contract. Fine. We have the draft capital, but I think we can survive without those guys. And I know everybody's like, well, we need weapons to beat Kansas City and all that. And I understand it. I get all that. But from what I was watching in that championship, in the AFC championship game, is the defensive line really failed to create pressure. The defensive line failed to create pressure. Just think about it, like even the last, if I'm thinking about it right, those last few series, the one where Josh threw an interception, we was driving down. I think they were up by 6. They ended up going down, and I think kicking a field goal. We were down by 9. Just think, had Josh not thrown an interception, we'll just say he thrown it just for the sake of debate. Just think if we had a mean defensive line that was getting to Pat Mahomes, making him uncomfortable, and pushing them out of field goal range, then we're still down by 6? And did we not go down there and score the last touchdown? I mean, I can easily speak after the fact, after the whole situation is over with. But we needed a defensive lineman. If we're gonna mortgage the future of this franchise and go out there and try to and get somebody, if we can, and do the numbers, and if they have a fat contract and bring them in, let's go out there and get a dog defensive lineman. That's what I'm for. That's what I'm for. Julio, Zach Ertz, once again, hey, don't hate me for it, but I think we can survive without those guys. Our issue was we want to get into the quarterback. And then the secondary can't hold forever. Of course you're going to get Tyreek Hill breaking open. Of course you're going to get Travis Kelce just doing whatever you want in the middle of the field. But if you got somebody who's getting back there, not giving the quarterback 3-4 seconds, hey, hell, he was doing his taxes in the backfield. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, if you're not giving the guy like Pat Mahomes or any quarterback for that matter, that type of time, you're gonna pretty much you're gonna control the at least the tempo or the pace of the ball game to how you want. Adding more weapons, cool. But that going score for score thing can get dangerous now. Especially if you add a guy. Say if we went out and got both Julio and Zach Ertz. Say if we went out there and did that. Now, these guys got to get acclimated to the system. Versus, say if we meet up with them again in the AFC Championship, with everybody who's in that system right now knows the intricacies, the ins and out of their system. So if you want to go score for score with somebody who everybody on their team is caught up, we got 2 guys that need to get caught up. Yeah, that could be a dangerous combination. But that's just me. Now, back to Gabe Davis. But let me take a quick pause for calls. If you check me out on Facebook, hit that like button, tell a friend that All About the Bills is in. If you check me out over on YouTube, check me out on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you stay updated on everything all about the Bills. All right. Now let's just go back to as far as like with Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, I think we can make it without him because if you think about it, Gabe Davis was kind of like our de facto tight end in our offense. He was just detached from the line. He didn't do much blocking as far as like on the defensive end. He was just detached from the line. Now I was looking at some film somebody posted on Twitter. All thing he needs to just really work on is like his separation on some of his crossing routes. That's easy for me to say. But I'm quite confident that when you got a guy who's a route runner, 2 route running technicians in the building, and Emmanuel Sanders and Stephon Diggs, that you're gonna get with these guys in the offseason, you're gonna figure out the ins and outs and how to run your route. He had 599 yards last year and 7 touchdowns. Then that's a receiver. We need to upgrade the tight end, which I understand. But if like with Dawson Knox, if he only gives me 300 yards, 3-4 touchdowns, I'm cool with that. Which is what he did last year. He gave us 288 yards and what? Let's make sure I get my notes right. 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's over 800 or so yards a piece altogether. What is it? Yeah, there's over 800 yards or so and 10 touchdowns. Now just think about this offense. If those two right there could combine, like I say, if Gabe Davis comes back this year and gives us 500 yards or so with Dawson Knox throwing in another 300 yards, and I get 4 touchdowns a piece out of these two, that's what? That's 800 yards, 8 touchdowns out of 2 people. That's the production that you want. And then you got 3 guys who are capable in Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, and Stephon Diggs that are capable of giving you at least 1,000 yards apiece. I know Stephon Diggs is going to be slotted at least give you 1,100. I just said just at least. Cole Beasley, I'm going to have 1,000 yards, and they're just coming from the slot. Then you add a guy like an Emmanuel Sanders. Even though he's 35, but he's a route running technician. If I'm not mistaken, I had the notes here. Last 4 to 5 seasons, he's averaged over at least about 700 yards or so. He's averaged over 700 yards or so, and he's 35, and he just did 700 yards just last season. So if you're getting at least 1,000 out of one, 2 receivers, maybe 700 to 800 out of another receiver, and then you got a combined out of Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Hey, like I said, the offense is the issue. The defense really isn't the issue that much. The secondary is just their front 4. Now, let me move along. Let me get on my soapbox for a second. All right, now. All right. And then I'm just thinking about it. You know what I was just thinking about? It just came to me. And this our receiving core, as talented as it is from top to bottom, it kind of reminds me of back, like even with Pittsburgh, when they had guys like, if I can get my thoughts together, Hines Ward. Yeah, Hines Ward. They had Hines Ward. It was Santonio Holmes. After San Antonio Holmes, you had Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, and Emmanuel Sanders, who is on Buffalo Bill now. Then let's even look over at Green Bay. Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, James Jones, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, and let's even throw Jermichael Finley in there for extra measure. And now look at it now. It's the Devontae Adams and company show now. But see, that's what you have when you have, like I said earlier, when you have a GM, head coach, and coaching regime, you got a GM and Brandon Beane. You got guys like Joe Sheen and Dan Morgan, who moved on to be the GM for the assistant GM for the Carolina Panthers, by the way. But that's what you have when they're working lock and step with it's no big eyes, no little you working lock and step together, hand to hand, just for one cause, and it's for this team. And then when you have things like that, when we have organization working together like that, then the cover will never be bare as far as like with offense, defensive potential guys coming in. You're always gonna have somebody that's gonna be able to come up. Right now, let me take another pause for the calls. If you check me out over on Facebook, make sure you hit that like button, tell a friend that hashtag AATB is in. Now, if you're looking me up on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe, hit that share button, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all things all about the Bill. All right, now let's move on over to like the 6th receiver spot. You got Isaiah Hodgins, Duke Williams, Speedy Stevens. I even throw him in there. Speedy brings a lot to the table as far as because he can play special teams, buy a receiver, and he can possibly line up a running back. So he has a jump. I think we carried like 6 receivers last year, and Isaiah McKenzie was one of them because he was the gadget guy. And Andre Roberts was the other guy, was the 6th guy because of the special team dude. Now, just thinking about it, if we bring in keep Speedy, keep Isaiah, now I can justify those two, that 5th and 6th spot being there. you're keeping those guys on the roster because they can do a lot of different little things in our offense. I think that can justify it. But I'm more intrigued by seeing what Isaiah Hodgins brings to the table. We didn't really get a chance to check him out. I think Isaiah Hodgins right now is just as good as Duke Williams. That's why I think Duke may be a practice squad casualty, or he might not even be back again this year. And then for the people who are out there saying, "Oh, Duke Williams is this and that, he's trash," come on, don't give me that mess. Don't give me that trash. He just never got a chance to get on the field for whatever reason. Maybe he didn't know the playbook. But every time I saw him, he didn't seem like he was a trash player. It seemed like he was out there giving it his all and playing his heart. You do realize in that Texas playoff game, he gave us 4 catches, 49 yards. Every time he caught the ball, it was a first down. He moved chain. And all I wanted out of Duke Williams, and for the people who think Duke, everybody wants to scream for Duke Williams to be the number one or a number one receiver. All I want out of Duke Williams is what Gabe Davis gave. Let me just run through a few stat lines what Gabe Davis gave us this season. This is all I was looking for. Some steady. All right. Gabe, he gave us 4 catches, 81 yards. That was in the Rams game. Came back, Titans game, 5 catches, 58 yards. All right. Then next, 4 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. That was Seattle Seahawks game. Now I can keep going. I can keep throwing it out there. I can keep throwing stats out there. But that was pretty much that's all I was looking for out of Duke Williams. And Gabe Davis came in. He was just as good as Duke Williams. Younger, cheap option. Then they can really just keep stuffing Duke Williams on the practice squad if they need to. Now back on to Isaiah Hodgins. All right. I had to go back and look at the little college film on Isaiah because we never really got a chance to see him on the field or whatever. We didn't get a preseason this year. So, Isaiah Hodgins, short to intermediate route runner, great concentration with his catching abilities, and he seemed like he's a red zone threat. Seemed like a lot of time they got down around the red zone, it's like they was looking for him down there. Now, he could possibly. Now, let's just think about this. He could possibly challenge Gabe Davis for that number 2 spot next season. But and I say that next season because Emmanuel Sanders, remember, he only signed for a 1-year deal. He's 35. Now, Emmanuel might get here, like it, want to come back for another 1-year deal. That's all I'm most definitely I'm gonna be comfortable with. A 1-year deal with Emmanuel Sanders. When we have all this young talent coming up and bringing up the rear. So, but if he loses out, him and Gabe Davis get the number 2 spot. He can slide into that number 4 spot right now. What Gabe Davis, what he's doing right now. This to me, this is a pretty decent consolation prize. That isn't too bad fall from grace. Last year, I guess it was like a medical red shirt for him. You know what I'm saying? So from that to being able to probably possibly in a year or so challenge for that number 2 spot, I really want to see what he brings to the table. What can he do? Can he actually compete? That's what I really want to see first. I think him and Gabe Davis are pretty much like same as far as like talent wise, what they can do. They are big play type receivers, big bodied, track the ball well, sideline catches, all that good stuff. So I want to see if what can he fit in? Because you got Speedy Stevens right there. If Speedy knocks off Isaiah and takes his spot, then there's a chance for Isaiah Hodgins. But if Isaiah, McKenzie, Lil Dirty, and Speedy on this roster, I don't see us carrying 7 receivers. Even though I would love the idea of at least having like an Isaiah Hodgins like just ready for game day. But I don't see us grabbing one of those guys like, excuse me. I don't see us keeping one of those guys on opening day. They probably practice squad. But I'm most intrigued in seeing about what goes on with those two. With Speedy, Duke, Isaiah. All right, now let me move along over to the offensive lineman. All right, the offensive lineman. All right, as it sits right now, you got Deion Dawkins, left tackle. John Feliciano, I believe he's a left guard. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if not. Center, Mitch Morris. Right guard, Cody Ford. Right tackle, Darrell Williams. Now, 3 of those guys I think are going to be are slated in as opening day. They want to start. Deion Dawkins, Darrell Williams, and Mitch Morris. But now, the 2 that I think they are most in trouble, or maybe they probably can get pushed for that spot, is Cody Ford and Mongo. Now, and then I bring up these 2 names right here. Spencer Brown, Tommy Doyle. I want to see, are they versatile enough to play offensive guard? I know they're slotted in offensive tackle. I know that's their natural position. But I want to see, are they versatile enough to be able to push one of these guys? Second, I want to see, can they actually compete? Are they good enough? If they come in good as a Cody Ford or good as a Mongo right now, I think their positions are up in flux. Their future in as far as like being a starter is in flux. And then after that, whatever they want to do, get traded or sit there and take their medicine and just wait for their number to get called on. But I want to see what can these 2 here bring to the table. And then it's good that this season that we have 3 preseason games. I'm glad they cut it down. No more 4 and 5 preseason games, 5 for the Hall of Fame game teams or whatever. It was just too long anyway. You got 1 preseason game. Your starters get a little work first few series. Rest of the game, really the preseason, you should just be looking at your young guys anyway. Your starter that you already know should already be slotted in, unless you got a starter that's in trouble. Second preseason game this year, that normally like is supposed to be what the 3rd game was, the dress rehearsal. They play into the 3rd quarter, but I think this year is going to be a little different since we only have 3. That they're going to only play as far as like maybe 2 quarters, play to the half. The rest of the time is going to be evaluating the young talent. And the 3rd game is just everybody, all the starters rest. Let's see who else we have on this roster that may need to, that's at last minute, last second, needs to make a roster spot. And let's not forget about Jack Anderson. How can I forget about Jack Anderson? 6'4", 309 pounds. Now, best case scenario with Jack Anderson, I want to know. I like to see at least best case scenario. Let's start best case scenario. I'm going too far ahead of my thoughts. Best case scenario, I like to see him be that gem that we find in the draft. Worst case, I like him at least be a spot starter, good backup, solid backup. That ain't too far. That ain't too bad, right? That's not asking too much. I believe the size he is, he shouldn't. I don't see him getting pushed all over the field. Now, ask y'all this before we move on over to the defensive line. Which of these 3 can push these vets for a position? Which of these 3 can push one of these veterans for a position? Now, I go as far as saying the guy Tommy Doyle, only because I saw him like have his pads on while he signed his contract and all that stuff. Even it might have just been a joke, but in my mind it was like, as long as I'm in this building, it's all about business, and his jersey is coming off my back. So I think Tommy Doyle might have a chance. I like Spencer Brown. I like him, but I think Tommy Doyle may be that guy that has a lot more to prove being drafted later. And Spencer Brown was like, they was talking about him if he would have left and went to a Power 5 school, he probably easily could have been like a top 15 or a first round draft pick. But he stayed where he was at in Northern Iowa, just out of loyalty. So we got good character guys. So I give it to this regime. All right, now let me take pause for the call. Check me out over on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to make sure you stay up to date on everything all about the Bills. All right, next, defensive line. I'll touch on this briefly. All right, now, of course, we got Jerry Hughes, Mario Addison, AJ Epinesa, F.A. Obata, Gregory Rousseau, Boogie Bash. Defensive tackles, you got Stock, Harbor Harry, Vernon Butler, Justin Zimmer, Trayvon Hester, who I'm really liking, because I've been saying that we need to grab another maybe one technique run stuffer. Because if we're gonna continue with this defensive line rotation, all the pods need to be interchangeable. Yeah, I even say that Boogie Basham sometimes probably can drop down, play a little 3 technique. But we need that run stuff only because of we saw how Ed Oliver performed when he had Star next to him. Now we got three possible run stuffing defensive tackles. Now, this is the make or break year for Ed Oliver. Let's see, was that really the reason why he wasn't giving us the production last season and showing us so many flashes because he was playing out of position? Or is it really just one of those situations where, hey, the guy might not just be what we thought he was? Now, like I said, we also have Boogie Basham, who can play that same position that Ed Oliver played. So, pressure makes diamonds. Pressure makes diamonds. Let's see, can the competition level rise up as far as like the defensive line? We need somebody on the D line. That's like I said earlier. If we're gonna go spend all our draft capital on anything, if we can get someone in here that's premier at a position, let's go defensive line. Let's go defensive line. You know what I'm talking about? So now I ended with this right here. With all the additions on the defensive line, who can make that splash? Who can make that splash as far as like on the defensive line? I tend to think, to me, and I've been riding this train for a while. I was big on him and Gregory Rousseau. I never thought we could actually get both of them, but I really preferred Carlos Boogie Basham first, only because he has size, is very explosive, and has a mean streak. I think, to me, you should never take this kid out the field. Put him at the DN. Him and Ed Oliver, Gregory Rousseau, AJ Epinesa. It's time to kind of, do away with the rotation. I know that's how they like to rock it. That's how they like to do. But let's do away with the rotation for a little second. Let's see what you got in these cats. Because if you put a dude in there, put a player in there, and then he just tearing through the offensive line, then you take him out. Now you stop the momentum. Or if you got some cats out there that's really not cutting it, okay, let's take him out. Let's put somebody else in. Let's see what we can find some type of energy or some type of synergy with the defensive line. All right, now that's the show for today. If you're digging into the content, make sure you check me out over on Facebook, All About the Bills, or you can go to aatb.buzzsprout.com. It has link to all my YouTube, all my Facebook, all my anything that's social media based about All About the Bills. You want to check it out. All right, so I'm out of here like last year. Peace. Go Bills.